Welcome to day 5 of Shop Talk. I'm Rachel Evans from the Workshop Whisperer, and we must have ruffled a feather or two in our day 4 video about not paying attention to everybody else in your area in terms of your competitors when it comes to setting your labour rate. Because I got a few messages overnight about fear and a few nasty ones, unfortunately, but that's the way life goes when you're dealing with business owners who fear what change might look like. And we've been doing this long enough to know that the fear is coming from a place of lack, not of hatred. So, for anyone that thought that they'd rattle me and throw me off my course to help business owners in the auto aftermarket succeed, you were unsuccessful again. But for the majority who are actually here to do something different from the results that they've had thus far, we shall continue on our merry way of talking about the things we can improve in your auto repair shop so you can achieve a different result. Now, we're still going to be in the vicinity of labour rate and move out into parts margins today. But remember, it's now the 15th of December. So in Australia, it is Monday, the 15th of December. And that means you are at the start of the last full week before Christmas. So I'm here to show you that when something is important and you make it a priority, you will put the effort towards it and you will do the work and you will get it done. So I'm here 30 days in a row at the busiest time of year to show you that if it's important, it'll be done. So let's talk about labour rates still. So as I mentioned at the start of this video, you should not be focused on what your competitors are charging out for their labour rates because you don't know their cost of doing business. Now, every second client that comes into one of our programs, and most specifically Auto Superstars, which is for auto repair shop owners doing less than 50K a month. And then we have the Engine Room, which is for auto repair shop owners doing more than 50K a month. When clients first come into those programs, every second one is afraid of raising their labour rate. The reason we know you're able to overcome this fear is because we've been helping you do it for the last 12 years. We've seen the evidence. Had to do it myself when I owned my own auto repair shop. When we took over, the labour rate was set at $80 an hour. You can't run a business on that, even 15 years ago when we took it over. So guess what actually happens when you incrementally increase your labour rate? You become more profitable. That's what happens. 99% of your customers aren't even going to know that you increased your labour rate. It is the number one piece of feedback we get after a client has taken our advice and we've helped them work out the numbers of the labour rate they need to achieve the profit they want. They go away and they do it scared, but they do it anyway, and they make the adjustments. And then a couple of months later, they always come back and they say, no one even said anything. So the result you can expect by making a data-driven decision about your labour rate is not that your customers will get upset and angry. It's that you will make more profit. And that is the game you are here for. That is what business is all about. So let's build on that from yesterday and let's look at labour with your parts margin. So there is a benchmark for what your labour rate and your labour revenue should look like in relation to your parts margin and your parts revenue. Because remember, what we're bringing in with labour, what we're bringing in with parts, they combine at the top of your profit and loss to be your total income. And there's a relationship between the two of them that can tell us if either one is out of line. So they'll either be in healthy relationship with each other or they will be out of alignment with each other. And I can look at your profit and loss. You could send it to me right now. I might not know anything else about you, but I can look at those two numbers, your labor revenue and your parts revenue, and I can tell you which one has a problem. That's all. That's all the information that I need. There's a benchmark for that. And there's only ever 2 to 3 possible issues on either side, the labor side or the parts side, that we even need to investigate, and the levers to pull to rectify that they're out of alignment are easy to put into place. But once again, it becomes about fear. Fear will stop you having a profitable auto repair shop. It's no question. Now, I'm here to tell you, because I've seen it thousands of times, and I even have to do it this way myself as the owner and operator of a multi-million-dollar business. You can do things afraid. You can do things scared. You can get them done anyway. It's how we move through life. It's how we make progress. Nothing happens in the absence of fear. There's nothing wrong with you if you're afraid, but you will only ever be able to achieve the result that you have now if you allow the fear to keep you stuck. So we can do things scared. If that's the one thing that you take away from this video today, then I'll be thrilled with that. You can do things scared. So if you look at your numbers and you don't have that gross profit result that I was talking to you about yesterday, then you've got work to do. Now, we spoke about labor yesterday. We'll talk a little bit about parts right now. So there is a benchmark that you need to be tracking towards for parts, and it is between 48 and 52%. Now, because our overall GP is the benchmark is between 58 and 62%, if the parts GP contribution is optimal when it's between 48 and 52%, that should give you an indication that your labor GP needs to be much higher than that, because we combine the labor GP and the parts GP to get that optimal performance between 58 and 62% for overall GP. So 48 to 52%, what does this mean? It means for every part that you supply, fitted or not, you need to be achieving between 48 and 52% GP. And some of you, and I've been talking about this for more than a decade, it was one of the first things I realized when we took over the auto repair shop, because I wasn't so much in pricing when my ex-husband was just operating a mobile mechanic business. Your suppliers will send over your parts with their invoice, and they'll tell you on the invoice what they think you should sell it for. Number one mistake that keeps you less than where you could be with profit is that you believe what is written on the invoice about what you should sell it for. So forget about that. It's just a line on a page that the supplier pulled out of the air and said, you should sell it for this. It might be what they sell it for as retail, but that's of no concern to you. It's not the supplier's business what you should be selling it for, and it's not your business to be concerned with what the supplier thinks you should sell it for. And the reason for that is because the supplier doesn't know the cost of running your business. Once again, we don't need other people telling us how we price things. We need to investigate the numbers to see what we need to do to achieve the optimal profit that helps us do all the things to pay for all the things in the business, pay ourselves, and then do what we want in life. So why would we be dictated to by a multinational company, usually, who has no clue what your operating costs are and what you're trying to do? Do they price in relation to each other? The suppliers, maybe they do, but sometimes their RRPs vary so wildly that you'd have to assume mostly no, they do not. So forget the RRP and forget if your supplier is selling to the public. For more than a decade, the whole customers being able to go and buy their own parts, that's been something that's talked about in our client groups, in our community Facebook group that is free. How do we handle people that want to supply their own parts? Well, we don't. Okay. So don't worry about what they can do. It's a very small percentage of any auto repair shop's customer database that actually knows the price of something. If you feel like every second customer is like that, it's an indication that you're in a price shopper market and potentially a low socioeconomic area. And it's not like you can just go and uproot your shop and move it to a wealthier area, although it's an option, an expensive one. So, what you need to think about is the wording that you put around how you don't fit customer supplied parts, or the margin that you do put on your parts because of the experience involved in the technicians who fit it and the salaries that you need to pay those technicians. And most customers understand that they want the job done right the first time and they need those experienced technicians on their vehicle. So, yes, you might lose a customer or two for using our parts matrix to set your pricing. But once again, like we've been giving away the parts matrix for free for a decade, and overwhelmingly, even from clients that have come into the program and they've thought, no way can I do this, especially the ones in heavy vehicle and performance. They think there's no way they can implement the parts matrix. And they're often the ones that come in where their GP on jobs is sitting down somewhere in the 20s or the 25s. It's a long way from the GP of 58 to 62%. But they're usually the ones that make the biggest gains and have the biggest profit transformations and go off to be investing in properties and goodness knows what outside of their business, because they grew up in their business with the mindset that in their part of the industry they couldn't do it. But they discovered that they could, and they did it scared. They did it anyway. So we don't take the RRP as the gospel. We look at the numbers, always look at the numbers. We come back, we do our own business case. Might you be scared to go from applying almost no margin, something like 20% on parts, to putting 60% on a particular part? There's going to be a sliding scale. Don't stress out. You're not putting 60% on an engine straight away, or maybe never. Even if you do it incrementally, because you need a little bit of evidence that you're going to be able to do this without massive client backlash, just do it incrementally. I don't care how you do it, just do it. Because we have the evidence of more than a decade with hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of our private clients in our client groups who are afraid but have the reinforcement of the clients that had been with us longer telling them, you are safe to do this. We have done it. It works. Here are the things to say to your customers if they question it. But just do it. And they do it. And every week we have a new client coming back to say, I wish I'd done this sooner. So the only results that you should expect from having your margins where they need to be is that you are more profitable. If you have the odd customer that arcs up, that was really price sensitive and you really didn't notice before, or they're price shopping you, let them go. Let them go. There are enough customers that will come to you for the quality of your work, the reliability of your work, and see value in what you do, and they will pay your price without question. There's a whole host of things that go into demonstrating value, and we can talk about that in this 30 days as well, because it is really important how you set things out on your invoice to build that value and what your service advisor is saying to them. But you can do it scared. You can do it scared. So if this year has felt hard for you and like there's not enough money, let's be okay with fear. Recognize that it's just trying to tell us that we're moving out of a zone where we've felt safe and comfortable and we're going into something that's a little bit unknown, but it's only unknown to you because you haven't been there. I've been there. Our team of coaches at the Workshop Whisperer is there on a daily basis, and we've seen this happen repeatedly for more than a decade. Think increments, see the evidence you need to take the next step, and let's just keep going. Let's make 2026, or whenever you see this video, this next 12 months in front of us, let's make it the year where you can do it afraid and you can do it more profitably than you're doing it right now. Please subscribe to the channel and please like this video, and I'll be back to see you tomorrow for day 6.